I can also show you some of my beautiful pregnancy symptoms. Hello, breaking out. How are you? Hello, all of you beautiful birthing people. So I'm coming at you guys with kind of a little bit of a different video. If you can see by the title, I have an exciting announcement that I am pregnant and I am feeling like literal dog poo. So I have to use the moments that I have where I have energy and don't feel like I'm gonna vomit all over everybody to multitask. So right now what I'm doing is I'm gonna be getting ready. I'm gonna be doing a little get ready with me, aka I'm just gonna put on makeup and we're gonna chat so that I can talk with you guys about my pregnancy. I can also show you some of my beautiful pregnancy symptoms. Hello, breaking out. How are you? And yeah, I just thought that'd be super fun. So I also got a new foundation that I have been really wanting to try. If you don't know me in real life, well, actually, if you know me in real life, you're like, Elizabeth, you look busted 99% of the time. If you knew me before I had children, I was really into makeup. I still really am. Foundation is kind of the one thing that I still spend a decent amount of money on because I have a hard time finding shades that are light enough for me that match my skin tone. And I watch a lot of makeup YouTubers. Taylor Wynn is one of my favorites. She tried this out. I can't remember if she loved it or if she kind of had to make it work, but I'm gonna try and make it work and see what it does. So this is the new Nars Soft Matte Complete Foundation. I'll link everything that I'm using. I'm not gonna talk all about it, but I just wanted to give a shout out to Taylor because not that she watches my videos or cares because she's not really my target demographic, but I watched her video on this. So yeah, I'm pregnant. Let's see, today is Monday, October 19th, and I am 8 weeks pregnant today, which is kind of crazy and insane. It's been a little bit of a whirlwind. If you haven't seen some of my older videos, I had a miscarriage a couple of months ago, a chemical pregnancy, and so I was not planning on conceiving again, but you know, sometimes those things happen. And I took the pregnancy test and I found out that I was pregnant. I was honestly more terrified than anything else. I did not take a pregnancy test early this time. I had no inclination that I was pregnant before the positive pregnancy test. I found out I was pregnant on a Tuesday because I had just worked and I literally was like, okay, Elizabeth, like, you know, you're gonna get your period. You don't want to have a mess. Like, you can feel it coming. You can feel the cramping. It is coming. So I went ahead and I put in a tampon thinking, well, this will save my britches and make sure that I don't have any sort of messes. I couldn't find my Lilova period underwear, which would have been perfect in this situation, right? For when you know that your period is coming, but I couldn't find it. So I was like, okay, we'll just do this. And then about halfway through my shift, I was like, I wonder if my menses has started, and it hadn't. So I was like, oh, well, that's weird. But you know, we're still in the middle of a pandemic and things are a bit stressful, and you know, perhaps I just have not gotten my period yet, but it's coming. So when I got home, just to kind of make myself not freak out, I took a pregnancy test, and I'm gonna go get it to show you guys. Is the pregnancy test, and as you can see, let me see if I can get it to focus. It is very positive. So I was like, oh, okay, well, I guess I'm pregnant, and I guess we'll see what happens because I don't trust my body now as much as I have previously. Just with that chemical pregnancy that I had, I just felt like I really was lacking some trust for my body to like really believe that it was going to carry a pregnancy and do a good job and not result in another miscarriage. And I think that honestly is pretty common. And I feel like absolute butt, and I'm so nauseous. I even threw up in the car today, but I still am hesitant. I'm having a hard time feeling excited. I know on camera this is looking like really, really light. It looks way better in person. My lights are just kind of bright. But yeah, I was having a hard time feeling excited. and I still am having a hard time feeling excited. I haven't had an ultrasound yet. So that's another thing, because I was like, okay, Elizabeth, like, let's just take a breath, be calm, not freak out. Let's wait a second before we call the doctor to schedule your first ultrasound. I didn't call for maybe like a few days, maybe even a week. And so I'm not sure if it's the COVID restrictions or if it's just everyone's pregnant right now. You guys let me know down below. Is everybody pregnant right now? But they could not see me until 9 weeks, 4 days, or 5 days. Like, basically I'll almost be 10 weeks before I'll get my first ultrasound. And that stressed me out, because what really always has made me feel better with my previous pregnancies is getting to see the heartbeat and getting to see the baby growing. And that brings me some ease, because once you see the heart rate, your chance of having a miscarriage goes down significantly. Obviously it's not 0, but it goes down. And I was just kind of waiting for that. And I'm not going to be able to go in until October 30th. And my husband can't go with me, not because of COVID. You're allowed to bring partners for ultrasounds, but he can't go with me because the job that he does, he's a project manager, and basically their entire project that he manages is due that day. But when I called to see if I could get it rescheduled, even maybe possibly earlier, they were like, well, we can't see you until November. We'd really like to see you before the 10-week mark. Because they also will use that early ultrasound to verify my dates. But based on my last menstrual period, my due date is May 31st, which I feel like is pretty accurate. But we'll see. So yeah, that's kind of what we're working with. We can go over symptoms, I guess, a little bit, because I always think that's fun. So I'm 8 weeks today, like I said. I really wasn't feeling much of anything in the beginning. Maybe at about 6 weeks is when the nausea started, and I really only felt good when I was eating. And like shortly after eating, anytime my stomach was empty, I felt super nauseous. Also, I was having a lot of like looser stools and like just a lot of like bloating and GI upset and gas from both directions. Cute, right? But I know that you guys know exactly how this is. So yeah, the nausea got like, my body was like, oh, you're 8 weeks pregnant now, sis. Let's make that nausea a little bit worse. So I threw up for the very first time today, in the car, in a giant cup that was given to me by my hospital after I gave birth with one of my 2 previous children. So thanks for that. You know, I'm always reduce, reuse, recycle. I was texting with a couple of my girlfriends who I work with, and they were like, one of them threw up like throughout her whole pregnancy. I normally have just been pregnant, I've just been nauseated in the first trimester. But she was like, okay, here's what you got to do. You need to go to McDonald's and you need to get the large cups. Ask for them in excess. And then you need to get lids, because that way they fit in your cup holder. And then when you throw up, you can put it back in your cup holder and put the top on so that you don't smell it and throw up some more. I was pretty impressed by that plan, because yeah, I was really struggling, and I was at a stoplight when I threw up. Like, I was doing everything as safely as possible. I wasn't expecting to throw up because I've been really like gaggy and like a lot of like dry heaving, but like I've never actually thrown up. I didn't have anything on my stomach, which I think might have been part of the problem, but I have to take my Synthroid because I do have hypothyroidism, and so I have to take that and not eat anything for an hour. I might have to switch and start taking that in the evening, start taking my prenatals in the morning. So I am taking 100 mics of othyroxine, and I was taking that. I've taken 100 mics with all of my pregnancies. After my other pregnancies, I went back down to 88, because your body does have a higher need for thyroid hormones when you're pregnant, especially in the first trimester. The baby uses your thyroid hormones until it develops its own thyroid. After my pregnancy with Holden, I actually didn't go back down because my levels were still at a range where I could stay on the higher dose. And so I just went ahead and did that, and we were going to continue to monitor, but I need the higher dose when I am pregnant. So 100 mics is perfect. I went and got my levels checked, and my thyroid hormone level was perfect. At about 5 weeks, I texted one of my friends who used to work with us, who now works at the doctor's office where I go and was telling her how I was feeling anxious and asked if it would be okay if I got my HCG drawn. So your HCG is one of the pregnancy hormones, and it's the ones that the pregnancy test that you pee on check for. And if you go and do a pregnancy test through your blood, it also is in that one. And so what we did is we got it drawn 48 hours apart, and in 48 to 72 hours, it's supposed to double. Mine did just about double in 48 hours. I think technically 50 hours is how long it said it took to double. So that was perfect. That looked good. Let me look up the numbers and I can tell you what they were. At 5 weeks and 3 days, my HCG was 1,533, and then 2 days later, it was 3,061. I am encouraged to feel crappy because I'm hopeful that by feeling crappy, that means that all of my hormones are doing as they are intended to do and growing a small baby. I'm not going to upload this video until I have my ultrasound, and I'll try to put a clip of the ultrasound at the end. I'm thinking they'll let me film because my husband won't be there to see it. So I'm hoping that they will let me do that so that I can show him our little baby bean doing all the fun swimming and moving around. The nice thing about going in this late is that my baby will look like a baby more so than just like a little heartbeat. It'll like look like a little teeny tiny baby, because that's kind of when they start to do so, is between like 8 and 9 weeks. So that's kind of exciting. Yeah, so I'm pregnant, surprise, we're excited. I'm anxious still. This video is all over the place. Doing my makeup and talking is kind of difficult. I'm gonna put on my mascara now and try to keep my mouth shut, which is not easy. But yeah, I'm gonna wait until I have that ultrasound to post this video, just because I don't know. I'm still so anxious, right? Like, how do we trust our bodies to do the right thing? I'm really struggling. Even though I see the right thing happen 99.9% of the time at work, it's just hard when you know a little bit more about everything that could happen, potentially. But this will be our third and our final baby. We are trying to figure out all the things that kind of change when you have a third baby. Like, we've been potentially thinking that we might want to move and find a house that just fits our needs a little bit better. We've been thinking, do we need to get a bigger car? You know, like all of these things. I'm really excited to be able to take you guys along for the journey of having another baby, because it's going to be a really exciting journey, and obviously things are going to be a little bit different right now in the time of COVID-19. But yeah, I'm excited to go along this journey with you guys, and for everything to hopefully go really well, and even if it doesn't go well, we'll just deal with that accordingly. But yeah, I want to thank you guys so much for watching. I know this was a little bit of a different video. I probably won't ever do this again. It was hard, but you know, so much of my quiet and rest time are spent with me quietly resting and feeling miserable. So I'm kind of thankful that I did have this little burst of energy, especially after feeling so crummy this morning. Because if any of you have been pregnant and experienced morning sickness, you know that it doesn't just hang out in the morning. It's kind of like all the time sickness, at least for me. So I'm thankful to have this little bit of time where I'm feeling decent. I have a couple of fun videos coming out before this one that hopefully you guys enjoy. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Bye guys!